as we pledge allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we please have roll call?
Chairman Taylor,
Here.
Vice Chairwoman Van Deven. Here. Member Beckles.
Here.
Member Green.
Here.
Member Wheelis.
Here. Very well. We have a full quorum for tonight. At this time, we're going to turn this over to our city attorney as we have a new, or swearing in for our new alternate member.
Yes,
Is that right?
he's going to be sworn in. You can go to the podium at this time. You can raise your right hand, please.
Okay. I, Nathan Emery Rothel, do solemnly swear to support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and the state of Florida against all enemies, domestic and foreign, that I will bear true faith, loyalty, and allegiance to the same, that I am entitled to hold office under the Constitution, that I will faithfully perform all duties of Office of Board of Adjustment and Appeals for the City of Titusville on which I am about to enter. So help me God.
Thank you.
And that's it?
Yes, that's it.
Welcome.
Painless.
Well, I see you have a seat over there. That is good.
Thank you.
We hope to see you over time, over and over, well, not too often. Depends who's taking vacations up here. All right, so glad to have you here. Thank you. All right, next up is approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look over the minutes from our September 24th, 2025 minutes, meeting? And do we have any corrections or additions to make? I see none. So may I have a motion on the minutes, please?
So moved.
No, well, you got to make the motion first. So you approve?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the September 24th meeting.
Very good.
I second it.
And I have a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Very well.
Notice.
Yeah, right here. That's next. Okay, I have a little speech to read now. All persons who anticipate speaking on any public hearing item must fill out an oath card to be heard on that agenda item and sign the oath contained thereon. These cards are located on the table near the entrance to the council chamber, or may be obtained from the recording secretary. This meeting will be conducted in accordance with procedures adopted in Resolution 24-1997. Those speaking in favor of a request will be heard first, those opposed will be heard second, and those who wish to make a public comment on an item may speak third. The applicant may make a brief rebuttal if necessary. A representative for either side, for or against, may cross-examine a witness. Anyone who speaks is considered a witness. If you have photographs, sketches, or documents you desire for the commission to consider, they must be submitted unto evidence and will be retained by the city. Please submit such exhibits to the recording secretary. So hopefully everyone that wishes to speak has filled out a card tonight and you've turned it in. Yes, sir. All right, I got thumbs up. That is good. You'd be surprised. Some people don't understand what I say. Okay. Staff, have the two items up for tonight been properly advertised?
Yes, Chair.
All right, good. And have any members visited or spoken to anyone in the public about either one of these items on tonight's agenda?
No.
All right, me either. I see no one there has had any conflicts. So we have no consent agenda. We have no old business. So we're going to new business. So staff, if you would enlighten us for variance number 20-2025 at 1525 Bunker Hill Court.
Thank you, Chair.
So beginning on page 9 of your packet tonight is the staff report, and this is a variance request for Land Development Regulations, Chapter 28, Section 28306C, to allow less than the required 20-foot side corner setback, and Chapter 28, Section 28391G2, to allow less than the required 5-foot interior side yard setback for a detached accessory structure for property located in the multifamily medium-density zoning district at 1525 Bunker Hill Court, as submitted by Barry Hallman, owner. Subject property is approximately 0.12 acres, and the lot is a corner lot with approximately 52.67 linear feet of frontage along Bunker Hill Court and 92.82 linear feet of frontage along Powderhorn Place. And these dimensions do meet the standards for the R2 zoning district. It is a half duplex residence constructed in 1981. And then, as always, to start, the powers of the BAA. LDR Section 34-226 states that the board shall grant a variance request when, in the opinion of the Board of Adjustment and Appeals, owing to special conditions, the literal enforcement of such ordinance or regulations would do manifest injustice to or impose an unnecessary hardship upon the applicant. In order to authorize any variance to the provisions of such ordinance, the board must consider the following criteria. A, special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved and which are not applicable to other land, structures, or building in the same zoning district. B, special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. C, granting the variance requested will not confer upon the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the ordinance to other lands, buildings, or structures in the same zoning. D, the literal interpretation of the provisions of the ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district under the terms of the ordinance. E, the variance granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure. F, the granting of the variance will preserve the spirit of the ordinance and remain in harmony with its general purpose and intent. G, in granting the variance, the public safety and welfare must be assured. And H, in no case shall granting of a variance result in a change of use which would not be permitted in that zone. Now to the request. The applicant is requesting variances to the LDR to allow less than the required setbacks for a detached accessory structure located at 1525 Bunker Hill Court. The request includes a variance to Chapter 28 to allow less than the required 20-foot side corner yard setback and a variance to allow less than the 5-foot interior side yard setback. The applicant proposes to construct a 30-foot by 20-foot detached garage with a 10-foot side corner yard setback and 0-foot interior side yard setback. The property is part of the Veteran City Unit 5 plat and is surrounded by R2 zoning, with the neighborhood consisting primarily of single-family homes and split duplex or triplex units. Since the detached accessory provisions of the code do not specifically outline side corner yard setbacks, such structures are required to meet the same standards that are applicable to the principal buildings. In this case, the required side corner yard setback is 20 feet and the required interior side yard setback is 5 feet. The lot fronts Bunker Hill Court with a side corner along Powderhorn Place, a cul-de-sac, and the rear portion of the lot measures approximately 40.42 feet in width, and the rounded side lot line along Powderhorn Place creates varying setback that measures about 10 feet at the narrowest point and increases outward along the curve. A 10-foot public utility and drainage easement extends along this side lot line. The submitted concept plan does not show that the proposed structure encroaching into the easement. The garage would be located near the existing screen porch at the rear of the primary structure facing Powderhorn Place, with ingress and egress provided by a new driveway connection along that street. While the proposed garage is positioned behind the home and along the cul-de-sac frontage in a manner that may be generally compatible with the surrounding development, the lot does not contain any unique physical conditions or circumstances that would otherwise prevent compliance with the required setbacks. Staff are recommending denial of the variance to allow a detached accessory structure to be constructed with a side corner yard setback of 10 feet instead of the required minimum of 20. And then staff are recommending denial of the variance to allow a detached accessory structure to be constructed with an interior side yard setback of 0 feet instead of the required minimum of 5. There are no special conditions or circumstances which exist that are peculiar to the land. The lot conforms to the R2 zoning district dimension requirements, and the literal interpretation of the code would not deprive the owner of rights commonly enjoyed by others in the same zoning district. And then if you would like, the concept plan is going to be on page 20 of your agenda. And so you can see the sketching of, towards the right of the page, the 30 by 20 outline with the 0-foot setback at the front, and then the 10-foot, the 0-foot setback in the interior and 10-foot at the side corner, with the 10-foot kind of extending out as Powderhorn, as the property expands along Powder.
Thank you. Kim, could you come over here, please, to my computer? I've got.
Oh, the log out. But if you like the concept plan on 20, and then the maps that have an aerial of the property on 27. And that's all I have. I'm open for any questions.
Okay. Do we have questions of staff over what was presented so far? No, no questions of staff. Okay. All right, then I guess we will open it to the public for the public hearing. Do we have the applicant available?
Yeah, Barry Hallman.
Very good, sir. Would you please come up and give us your name and your address for the record? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Barry Hallman. My address is 3672 Powderhorn Place. I also own the property 1525 Bunker Hill Court.
Could you tell us why you're wanting this
Okay, thank you.
variance and what you would like for it?
I sent along, and I had Tabitha, I gave her some pictures, which hopefully you guys have also. And I wanted to kind of explain the pictures. There's one picture that has no vehicles in it. That's about how much room I would have to put in this garage with no variances. The biggest thing is it's about 15 feet, and I have classic cars that my wife and I have that actually are longer than 15 feet. So even at that, with no variances at all, wouldn't be feasible to put a car in it. There's also these two pictures that have the single car in with the red convertible top. That's my wife's MG. That shows that if it was in that area, it would kind of stick out over both ends. And there's a third set of pictures where her car and my one car is, and it just about squeezes in, even with the 10 foot off the one side and the 5 foot off the other side. I think I can make it work, but it's going to be tricky putting all the vehicles in. My wife and I are blessed. We have a love for antique cars and classic cars, but we try to use them for community outreach. We do a lot of things with our church, with our car club. Just think Halloween, we did trunk or treat at Crosswalk Community Church. But the other thing we did is we had a car show. We got people from our car club to come over, bring classic cars over, allow the people to come and see them, see what they're like, bring back memories and everything else. Our car club, Dixie Cruisers, we're very active in the community. We go to retirement homes. We just went to the rehab center over by Parish Hospital to be able to utilize our cars for those kind of things also. There's a place in Merritt Island we go, and actually the residents that are living there, we invite them down to go for rides around through the parking lot in the cars. It's a way of them recalling back from a long time ago. And we try to do things that help the community. We're involved with Port St. John Baptist Church. We do different activities there. We do things, like I say, at Crosswalk Community Church. One one of the things in doing this variance, and Tabitha and her staff has been extremely helpful, because my concern is not only there, but the people in the neighborhood. And yeah, we live in a cul-de-sac. One of the things that I did was I typed this out and I went to everybody in the cul-de-sac explaining what I was trying to do and explaining why. The biggest thing is right now, just like last night with all the rain, my wife's car sat outside, and during the middle of the rainstorm, I had to go get a big heavy piece of plastic to put over top of the car cover, because the car covers are moving around, which damages the paint and the car. It also got water in it, which I'll have to dry that thing out also. We're trying to be good stewards of what God's blessed us with. And one of the ways we can be good stewards is to have a building that we can store them in to keep them safe, so we can keep on using them. I looked into the fact of trying to do a rental place here in Titusville where I could like store in a garage area at rental property. And everyone that I talked to said, no, you can't keep a car in there because of fire hazard and everything else. So this is why I'm trying to get this. The other thing is there's another paper there where I went to the person that lives in the other half of the duplex and explained to her what it was with that extra 5-foot variance that would be up against the fence. She has no issues with it. She signed that paperwork that she's fine with that. I'm looking at putting the 30-foot in there. Like I say, it's going to be tight, but I'll be able to try to manage that. I actually, when I talked to Tabitha and started looking at everything, I asked about 35 feet. But that 10-foot drainage section, because of the way the cul-de-sac is, the further east you go, the further in that area is. And that 10-foot easement would go back to almost right where the 30 feet would be from the fence out. So this is why I'm asking for this. Hopefully I'll have a place where we can continue to, keep our cars and have them stored and be able to use them for the community and for us.
All right. How tall would this particular garage, or how tall are you looking to be?
I've talked to several different companies. The first company I talked to suggested 12 feet because then I could put storage on the top upper deck, and what they said was just like if you need anything, if you want to store extra material and stuff like that, you can do that.
Okay.
Have you talked to anyone in the building department to see if there's a way to configure it with any other way without having to change the, what am I trying to say? Without encroaching on those setbacks?
I've looked at that, and I've talked to Tabitha and several people. I've talked to construction people that are in the business and concrete and everybody else, and their big thing is because of the limit, without any restrictions, without any variances, I've got 15-foot section to put a car in that's over 15 feet, and the only way to do that with any kind of feasibility would be to turn the car sideways and push it into the area without the variance. And that would be extremely difficult. And everybody else says, well, the only other thing you can do is try to find a piece of property that's zoned somewhere that you can put a garage in. The other thing about that is my house is right there. And this way I can maintain it. I can keep an eye on it. I can make sure that things aren't getting destroyed, things aren't getting disrupted.
I have a question.
Yes,
You're proposing to put the shed in the back of the house?
in the backyard.
How do you get your cars in and out of that shed?
There's an entrance off of Bunker Hill.
He'll have to
Okay.
add a new driveway. He'll have to add a
Yeah,
driveway
and,
easement.
and like I said, when I talked to Tabitha, she asked about putting off the road to put in a shoulder to where going across the sidewalk. And if I need to do that, I'll do that. I've already talked to the concrete guy that would do the concrete work, and he said there'd be no problem putting that in.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The garage door will be facing Powderhorn. Well, there's a gate there to go in, but then you can go right in the door to the garage.
Is this a garage or a carport?
Garage.
It's going to be enclosed.
It's going to be closed. I had looked before about putting in a carport on my property where my wife and I live at 3672 Powderhorn. And the problem with that is I'm in the middle of the triplex. So you've got that easement on both sides. And that was that's how I first approached it, trying to put a carport in there. But even then, you get crosswinds and everything else, and makes it a little difficult. I ended up, the last time we had a major any hurricane's major. I went through Hurricane Andrew, any hurricane's major. I ended up having to go borrow a trailer to put cars in during the last hurricane so that they try to keep them from getting damaged. Trying to take care of what we have.
Are there any other questions?
See,
Yes, good.
I guess I'm not seeing something right. You say it's in the back, but from what I'm seeing, it's in the front.
No.
No, the side is going to be off Bunker. So on page 27 is going to be the aerial. And that might help a little more than that survey. The survey gets a little muddled. So on the aerial on 27, you can see kind of the highlighted property area. The front of the home is on Bunker Hill. That's the regular driveway for the residence itself. This would be in that back portion along Powderhorn, where that open grassy area is behind the property, behind the screen porch, or to the back of the building. And then
Okay.
just to point with the question earlier regarding a way to configure it without the variances, the side corner setback, because we don't have that outlined in the detached accessory structures, has to be with the primary. So it's definitely more restrictive than what the detached accessories have in general. So to not have a variance, he would have to meet a 20-foot side corner setback for along Powderhorn Place, which with the back of that lot being 40 feet, it would allow for a maximum of 15 feet for the garage.
Any other questions or thoughts?
Have you discussed the requirements for fire resistance for the building? Because you're putting the building directly on the property line, there's a 1 hour minimum fire resistant requirement associated with that.
I have not. I know that the company that I've talked to a couple different companies. Unfortunately, the first company that I dealt with was less than helpful, and I ended up having to break ties with them. I have talked to a couple different companies locally that this is all they do, and trying to make sure of what all has to be done. I know one thing that the one guy told me is, you're going to have, I think he said 3 fire extinguishers in the building, just because of, how large the building is. But that's the only thing that I know that I have addressed.
You will hear more details from the building official once you apply.
Okay.
There's some very specific building code requirements if the board chooses to approve the variance.
Okay.
Just be aware of that. And the other question I had for staff actually was,
Is there a overall lot coverage issue here?
No, sir. So I did the calculations on the lot coverage and the 50% for the detached accessory structures to see if any additional variances would need to be requested with this. And they meet everything. Because of that larger open side area along Powderhorn, it enables the lot coverage to be met with the addition of this if it were to be
I
approved.
see. And total linear footage side to side for total driveways?
The maximum
at
for
that?
it's 24 feet for residential. I had the building department and the city engineer kind of review this to see if there was anything that they might flag as something that couldn't be done, because I didn't want him to request the variance, potentially get approved, and then not be able to put in a driveway. And they had no issues.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
That was good information. Thank you. Any other questions of this applicant? Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate
you.
your time. And is there anyone else to speak on this?
No, sir.
Very well. Then we will close the public hearing part. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Okay, bring us back for further questions of staff or communication among ourselves. Thoughts on this?
I'm very sympathetic to the cause and to the thought of collecting vehicles as I did myself, and but I have a hard time finding the hardship. That's kind of where I am at this point.
I'm torn on this one. Looking at it, hearing the discussion, I'd waver towards the no, but the fact that the man went around to all of his neighbors and asked for their permission and they signed off on it, that's a good thing. The fact you have a 0 lot line, what you're asking for is a 0-foot setback on the north property line is very concerning.
And then if I may, I did split, I would ask when you do make your vote that you do them individually. That way, in case it was one or the other, or however you would like, they are split. So to make 2 motions in a sense for this.
Any other questions or comments from anyone else?
So when she said it, she split it. Does she mean here in the denial?
There,
You can accept one and not the other?
Excuse me, we can't hear on the record what's being discussed, please, with the
Sorry.
mic.
Yeah.
speak up again.
I said, when she said that she split it, I'm thinking for the recommendations that she split the recommendations to, if we wanted to approve the 10 feet instead of the required minimum, and then deny the 0 instead of the 5. Is that what she was referring to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
So you can do one but not both, or one?
I'm just saying, when you make your motions, a motion to rule on the side corner setback for the 10, and then a motion to rule on the interior side yard setback for the 0. That way, in case it is one or the other, it's a clearer thing. If it's no to both or yes to both, however, but if it's one or the other, that way it's very clear with what's on record for side corner make the motion, and then interior side yard as a separate.
So there's two separate issues for us to consider
Yes.
for both.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, staff, maybe I'm confused. This drawing that we have shows, I guess you would say west side as a 5-foot setback. And you're saying we need 10 or easement?
Thank you. So The west side is the rear of this property. That, for detached accessory structures, has a 5-foot setback requirement, so it meets it. So the variance is not for that west section. It's also out of that PUD, so there's nothing that needs for any kind of easement, vacates, or anything like that. So we are, so along Powderhorn Place on the south, that's gonna be your 10-foot, the request for the 10-foot side corner yard setback. And then to the north, the right edge along there, the 0-foot is the interior side.
Okay, so what we're looking on these is the north and the south.
Yes, sir.
And if we don't agree to in other words, if we shrunk it, the north would have a minimum of 5 feet also if we,
So if you were to not approve the variance for the north, the applicant would be subject to a 5-foot interior side yard setback.
okay, that would shrink the garage down to a 25 by 20. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. If you were to approve the south.
If we were to approve it. Permission to open the public hearing back to speak to the applicant? All right. Sir, would you come back up, please?
Yes.
Thank you. I have another question since now I'm
Okay.
reading what it says. Could you live with a 25 by 20 placement instead of a full 30 in depth?
The depth of it is where the crucial end of it is. If I can only do 25 feet, that would make it a little bit more difficult than the 30 feet. If it's 30 feet, I could probably angle cars in to be able to get 2 cars in. That's why I asked for the extra 5 feet.
So how many cars are you wanting to put in this garage? Because I'm seeing 2.
3. There's actually 3.
There's a third.
There's a third one. But it isn't, right now, it's down at the body shop getting fixed and painted. But if all I can have is 25 feet, it'll just be another challenge and have to try to, be creative sometimes, I guess. The biggest thing is, like I say, my biggest enemy is weather.
Yes.
Between the rain and the wind and everything else and trying to, and here we are, we live in Florida. But that's my biggest thing. I want to protect what we have.
So you're saying with 30 feet, you're able to stack 2 cars?
I'm able to stack 2 cars. You kind of put them in, instead of going straight in one behind the other, you could angle the cars in slightly and should be able to do it that way
Okay,
because of the 20-foot width.
okay. Any other questions? Yes, here we are.
How long have you had the 3 vehicles?
I think Mustang was 2 years. The Mustang we just got 2 years ago. The MG we've had for 3 years, and the Falcon we've had for 3 years.
Okay. How long have you lived there?
I've been there 18 years. My wife has been there almost 30 years. It was one of those things, I joke around, I tell everybody I was forced to move to Titusville because there's this woman. I got tired of driving my motorcycle from Homestead to Titusville back and forth. So I got rid of my job down there and came up here.
Thank you.
But yeah, she's been there a lot longer than I have.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming back up. All right, so now I have a clear understanding what the breakdown is here and why it was broken down into 2 parts. Sorry, at home I didn't understand that, but I didn't bother you. Do I have a motion of any kind from anyone? we'll look at the first one there, then the first variance there. We'll break it down into that part about the 10 feet instead of 20 feet setback. That's from the road to the building.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
the only motion I can make would be to deny both variance requests. And I'll hold back off on that if somebody wants to make a different type of motion.
There it is. Motion to deny variance number 23-2025 in its entirety.
Second the motion.
Okay, we've had a motion and a second for the entirety.
Do we have a reason
Huh?
why he's denying it?
Okay, why, you have to state why you're denying it, sir. Yes, you do.
Yes, and
This is why I
using
would've-
the,
I should have visited the site, but I think it's out of character. I've seen these metal buildings pop up, and I don't think anyone else has. It's a tight site, and I feel for the man.
Mr. Green, sorry. If you, for the denial, the criteria that's in the powers of the BAA that was read at the beginning, you'd cite one of those for the reasons for the denial.
Well, we can always go with special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. That would be the lot configuration.
In addition, staff has outlined the reasons for the denial, identifying the criterias, if that so assists the board.
Yeah, it also in our page 11, you can see that there's additional recommend for no special conditions.
Well, I'll agree that there are no special conditions or circumstances which exist that are peculiar to this land. Period. That cover it?
Is that gonna work?
That's fine.
Okay, that works, okay. You want your paper back? Okay, we've had a motion and we've had a second. We'll have roll call, please.
Chairman Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Van Deven,
Yes?
Member Beckles,
Yes.
Member Green,
Yes.
Member Wheelis.
Yes.
I'm sorry, sir, but it looks like it's just not gonna work. Thank you for trying, but I know you tried to work it out best you could, but it just didn't work out for us today, okay? Thank you. All right. Next item is, I lost my page already, I did. Here we go. Okay, staff, we have variance number 20-2025, a partial with a long ID number. Tell us about that, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chair. So the variance request is to Land Development Regulations, Chapter 28, Section 28-321C, to allow less than the required 50-foot front yard setback, less than the required 50-foot rear yard setback, less than the required 25-foot interior side yard setback for a primary structure, and to exceed the required 20% maximum building coverage for a property located in the General Use Zoning District with parcel ID number 22-35-05-00-93, as submitted by Daniel Gable, owner. The subject property is an unplatted lot with approximately 111 feet of frontage along Hillcrest Avenue and a total area of about 0.35 acres. These dimensions do not meet the minimum 3-acre lot area or 200-foot lot width required under the General Use Zoning District standards. It's current a vacant lot. Powers of BAA as stated earlier. So the, excuse me one second. So the applicant is requesting a variance to the LDR, Chapter 28, Section 28-321, to allow reduced setbacks and increased building coverage from those required in the general use GU zoning district for the construction of a single-family dwelling. Specifically, the request seeks to permit a 30-foot front yard setback where 50 is required, a 15-foot interior side yard setback along the north property line where 25 feet is required, and a rear yard setback ranging from 10 feet at the narrowest point to 25.2 feet at the widest point where 50 feet is required. In addition, the applicant is requesting a variance to exceed the maximum building coverage of 20% with the proposed concept plan indicating approximately 25% building coverage within the GU portion of the property. The subject property is an unaddressed vacant parcel located along Hillcrest Avenue, approximately 0.3 acres in size. Now, the parcel contains two zoning designations, general use and open space and recreation, with the OR portion of the property encompassing a wetland area. Split zoning appears to have existed since the parcel's creation. The front portion of the property was administratively rezoned from single-family medium density, or R1B, to GU in 1993, which rendered the lot non-conforming under the current GU standards. The GU zoning district establishes significantly larger dimensional requirements, including a minimum lot area of 3 acres and a minimum lot width of 200 feet and greater setbacks because they're intended for larger tracts of land. The applicant is proposing to construct a single-family residence on the upland portion of the site outside of the OR area. Given the parcel's limited size and configuration, there is no feasible way to develop the property in compliance with the dimensional standards that the GU district without variances. The proposed setbacks and building coverage would allow for reasonable residential development while maintaining a scale and character consistent with the surrounding single-family properties. And so with that, staff are recommending approval of the variance request to allow a single-family residence to be constructed with a front yard setback of 30 feet instead of the required minimum of 50, approval of the variance to allow a north interior side setback of 15 feet instead of the required minimum of 25, approval of a rear yard setback ranging from 10 feet at the narrowest point to 25 feet at the widest instead of the minimum required of 50, and to approval of the maximum building coverage of approximately 25% instead of the permitted maximum of 20%. In granting the variance, the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. The limited lot size and configuration within the general use zoning district creates a hardship, as there's no feasible way to develop the property for a single-family residence in compliance with the current dimensional standards. Approval of the requested variances would not confer any special privilege upon the applicant that is denied by others, lands, buildings, or structures within the same zoning district. And for your, to see on the plan is on page 43 of your staff report. That'll have the kind of plot plan outline. It's more towards the bottom. I know that's a larger file, but if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the buildable area, the zoning difference in the lot lines, and the setbacks that are being proposed. And then if you'd like to see the different zoning configurations, how there's two zoning districts, that would be on page 51 of your packet. And that is all I have.
I know you weren't here and you don't have the history, but were there any notes anywhere as to why this part did change from R1 to GU?
None. So I dug into all of the old files when everything was administrative rezoned in 93. This one parcel went from R1B, which the surrounding districts you can see on the zoning map has R1B completely surrounding it, and it changed to GU. No notes, I'm not sure. I know we looked through the minutes, we looked through everything, and I'm unable to provide any clarification on it. I was not able to find any.
Richard, do you have any insight?
Actually, yes, some of the rezonings to this general use classification had to do with the OR, how to address the OR, and when they showed up in residential neighborhoods that were already platted. So wasn't necessarily the correct thing to do, but that's what we wound up with. So
Yes, sir.
it's, I think it's incumbent on us to make it work for them.
This is not the first time we've had, from 93, some issues with.
Yeah, I understand. 'Cause
Funny lots.
if it had have been the R1B, I don't think we would be here, maybe for the 110-foot rear yard setback, because with the different zoning districts, we take setbacks from the zoning lines, not the property lines. So that also creates an additional constraint.
Okay.
I believe ultimately they decided that the OR designation should be an overlay as opposed to a separate zoning classification.
We do have it as a separate zoning classification right now. That is what that is, so I'm not sure.
Any other questions of staff or comments to staff about this? All right. Seeing none, we'll open up the public hearing part, and may we have our first card, please?
Dan Gable.
Welcome, sir. You would give us your full name and address for the record, please.
Yes, hello. My name is Daniel Richard Gable. I currently live at 5517 Cathy Drive, Titusville, Florida.
All right.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for hearing my application this evening. So again, like I said, my name is Dan Gable. I've been a Titusville resident for 18 years, and I love Titusville. I came back from the war and settled here, right? I'm an aerospace worker, and yeah, so what I'm essentially looking to do is I'm essentially looking to build one single family residential house on this lot I own. I want to build it in the like and kind to the neighborhood. I'm not asking for anything out of the ordinary for the neighborhood. Again, the administrative zoning that was presented back in '93 does create a hardship, as well as the wetlands there. I've looked at every other configuration to try and fit it within that, and I don't see a way to possibly do that. So for the reason of the hardship because of the zoning, the reason of the hardship because of the wetlands, I'm asking for a moderate building buildable zone to be able to, again, put a single-family residential structure that is in line with the neighborhood. One thing, there was a question from the staff that came up about some power lines. And those are being sunken, so that question should go away. We believe we have enough for the driveway regardless, but if that comes up in the notes, I believe we should be covered there either which way.
Was that an issue, staff?
To clarify, because all variances go out to all departments for review, and one of the questions, there is a lift station at the front of this property, not on their property, but along the roadway. And there was a question of if the driveway would be able to move, because there's a power line, a small lift station, and if the driveway would be able to be feasible. So again, had the city engineer take a peek at it and building department to see if there was anything that they had. No concerns. The power line would be to the more north section. So the applicant's just stating that the power line should be going underground. But the question from staff was more about the lift station, and there's no concerns there.
Not an issue then. All right. Questions of the applicant? Your light's on, sir. You okay to say that? Oh. That was quick. Yes, sir.
Do you have some significant elevation changes on your lot?
So yes, sir. Obviously, in the OR range, it slopes back off into wetlands. So again, the proposed building is in the uplands in the general use and will not be impacted by the wet, or will not impact the wetlands, sir.
So you're not having to do any fill on this part of the property to raise the house?
I haven't evaluated, or I haven't had my engineer evaluated, just to make sure we have can tap into the sewer. We need to have the slope. So I need to have them look at that, but I'm not aware of any at this time.
Any other comments, questions? Very good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have another card?
No, sir.
Y'all don't want to talk to us? We're hurt. Oh. All right. Well, seeing no other cards, we'll close the public hearing part and bring it back for discussion or motion, either one. And I will ask this question. It's broke down into 4 pieces. Should we decide we want to approve it, we don't have to.
No, sir. You can just approve as requested if you'd like.
Good, thank you. Just making sure. Any other comments? Yes, sir.
I believe staff did an excellent job of analyzing the scenario and making appropriate recommendations.
All right, sounds good. Any other comments? As long as the house fits in character with the neighborhood, I don't think you plan on building a 3-story or anything big. No, sir. No, big monster, okay. That would be out of proportion. All right. Well, seeing no other comments, do I have a motion of any type?
I have a motion on variance number 24-2025, parcel ID 2235050093, to approve the variance in its entirety as specified in the agenda.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not seeing any, may we have roll call, please?
Member Beckles?
Yes.
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Wheelis?
Yes.
Chairman Taylor?
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Van Deven?
Yes.
Well, congratulations. I'm sure you'll have fun with the building department later, but so congratulations. Thank you for coming in. Do we have any petitions or requests from the public that wishes to speak? Still nothing. Okay. Reports.
You're free to go if you want to.
Oh, well.
You can
Oh.
stay if you just want to listen.
No reports, just hope everyone enjoys their holidays, had a good Thanksgiving, has a good Christmas, and Happy New Year.
We'll be back on the regular January schedule then.
Regular January schedule, as of this time, I do not have any, but because of the change, we still have a couple weeks before that, because they need to submit by the end of December.
Okay. But, so it has to be in by the end of December, is what you said?
Yeah, I think it's a 26th or something like that,
Okay.
but yeah, we don't have any at this time.
Okay.
There is
well,
still time.
That's good news, too. All right. Anything else from the attorney?
No, not at this time, thanks.
Well, thank you. Glad to have you with us now.
Thank you.
Staff members, members of the board, anything?
Just a welcome to our new city attorney and to our new alternate member.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Nothing? Okay. Well, I wish everybody a happy Merry Christmas, and we look forward to ending this year on a high note here. And see you next year. All right. We're adjourned.